Hello. So, on the topic of being open minded, I have a lot to say on this topic. And I think, as it relates to narcissism, I believe most of the ones that I've met, they come pretty close minded. I think they definitely are formed that way, and they just believe that whatever they believe is true on any topic: political, religious, sexual orientation, race, color, creed, all of them. And I think that um, narcissists, they kind of walk around thinking that whatever opinion they've developed is the only one to have. I know a narcissist who gets mad if you have a different opinion. The way that I raised my daughter, we're so open minded in this house that I even knew to combat those that are closed minded. And let me tell you what I mean. I raised my daughter, and she's 21 now, and she's abroad studying. I raised her to know and believe that in order to be truly open minded, that one must accept those that are closed minded. Do you understand what I mean? In other words, and what led me to that belief system, when I was younger, my grandfather, who was my favorite person on the earth, he was Italian. My mother's Italian, my father is French. So my Italian grandfather would say certain words or have certain opinions, or this was way back, and I was in college. And I said, Papa, why do you use that word? Or Papa, why do you think that way? Or Papa, and we had one conversation and that was it. I'm not here to chastise my grandfather or make somebody, 40 years older than I was from a different generation. I'm not going to torture somebody until they have my way of thinking. At that moment, I made a decision. He was raised in a different time period. He is from a different school of thought, but he has a right to his school of thought. Now, before you get all up in arms and say, well, no, Renee, some schools of thought are just incorrect. I agree with you. I agree with you. Absolutely. I accept anything and everything. My daughter was raised just so I could punctuate to her how much she was allowed to do and anything in the world. I said, I don't care if you come home with a little person, woman, black, old. I don't care. And she would laugh. Little person. They don't like the word midget. I think the word midget's adorable. But they don't like that word. But that was just my way of showing her, I don't care what you come up with. So I would try to come up with every list of anything that anyone would ever have. I don't care. You are loved, accepted, everything is fine, everything is beautiful, any way to be is fine. Many people just don't think that way. And do I think that they're incorrect to think that way? It's not a right or wrong, it's how they feel. It's not up to me or you or anybody to shove down anyone's throat our opinion. And our society's become a lot about that. And we forget to remember, that somebody might have been raised differently than you. They're older than you are. They're from a different generation. You're not, I don't care how long you sit there with a 90-year-old person, you're not going to convince them to have the same belief systems that you do. And that's okay. Let them go. They're fine. They lived their whole life feeling the way that they feel. They've not hurt anybody over it. They're not hurting anybody with their opinion. Just leave them alone. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't be, there's not room for activism and fighting for certain rights, for certain causes and things like this. That's all open-mindedness. That's great. Knock yourselves out. Minnie's wearing her gay pride pajamas. There's one issue we're very open with, right, Mommy? So you can do what you do, but it's not up to us to hate if somebody doesn't agree with us. And again, the only way that this really directly affects the narcissist is I believe that narcissism, just by nature of its definition, they leave them with their own opinions on things, and it's very hard to change their mind on anything. And it's my channel, so I can make a video on whatever I want. So even if we're deviating away from the narcissist behavior right now and just talk about open-mindedness, I think it's such a vital topic that I wanted to make a video on it. And like I said, it's my channel. So when you go out into the world and you encounter someone that seems curmudgeon or grouchy or they're stuck on their opinions, why does everyone feel the need of knocking yourself out to change somebody else's mind? There are 1,000,001 videos, news stories. You see it all the time. People are yelling at each other in stores over what mask they're wearing and what t-shirt they're wearing and what they're buying for food. And I've seen the most ridiculous confrontations from strangers when it has nothing to do with them. And then you might say, well, wait a minute, their behavior was harming somebody. Getting involved when somebody's harming somebody else, that's a different thing. But there's no way on earth that I was going to come along 42 years after my grandfather was born and change his mind. Does it make me mad at him? Nope. Did it make me love him less? Absolutely not. It's called accepting closed-minded people. So if you're really going to be open-minded, so you can't go through life thinking, well, I'm open-minded, so the only kind of people I'm going to accept are other open-minded people. Well, now you're being closed-minded. If you think about it, you're being closed-minded. So you only want to be surrounded by the people that have all the same opinions as you? There are issues that incense me. And I have friends of all walks of life, conservative, liberal, whatever, and I'll hear them say a certain issue or a certain opinion. Blah, blah, blah. I don't even try to argue with them. I might make one point, but it's not up to us. Oh, but I want to let them see the light. You can try. Nothing says you can't try. Give it 1, 2, 3 sentences. But it's why cause yourself frustration, get them mad, get into a fight with people to make them see your way. If they are ingrained and they have been raised a certain way and in a different state than you, in a different time period than you, their color of their skin is different than yours, their sexual orientation is different than yours, their gender is different than yours, they're going to maybe have different opinions. And that's okay. We can all have different opinions and accept all of them. Hence the phrase, to be truly open-minded, we must accept those that are closed-minded. They have a right to be that way. Everyone has a right to whatever belief system they have. And then you might say, well, black and white, that's just a wrong way to be. Some people are just wrong. Absolutely. I agree with you. But it's not up to us to exert the energy to change them. Say your piece or don't say anything. But you can move through the world, and people over whom you do have control, if you have a child and you want to raise them to be open-minded, just make sure you let them know that you are going to encounter people in the world. Maybe they're older than you, maybe they're from a different country, maybe they're from a different religion, and they're going to have a difference of opinion. You don't want to raise your people to start fighting with every single person to make them, no. So you accept a difference of opinion. Learn about their opinion. Ask them about it. Ask them about it. There's a different way to go. But all the arguing, and it's become that kind of culture with social media because everybody has a forum and everyone's an expert on everything that you say. I'm not out a lot of social media platforms, and I certainly never argue. I never chime in. I don't do things like that. I'm just not going to. It's not that important to me. But I will tell you that my belief system, I know is on point. The human that I raised, hers is on point. We're way open-minded to anything and everything that happens in life, and everyone has a right to live their life the way that they want. That is how we believe in this household. But the next household right there might be different, or right there might be different. I'm going to not talk to my neighbors because they eat from a certain restaurant, or they, oh, don't you know that the owner of that restaurant doesn't believe in the... Are you joking with me? That's where we're going now? So if you want to boycott something because of a belief system that the owner of a chain has doesn't coincide with yours, then that's fine. It is not up to you to shove it down somebody else's throat. Be open-minded. To be truly open-minded, you have to accept those that are closed-minded. So in that regard, you might look at that person. They're closed-minded. They shouldn't buy from that place. Did you know that the owner believes blah, 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 blah? Are you joking? So unless you are a person that goes through every single company you ever give money to, everything you buy, everything you eat, everything you wear, everything in your home, unless you know the belief system of every single owner of every single company or every single board member on every single corporation of every single thing that you've ever bought, then stop saying I shouldn't eat at a certain place and yelling at me about it. I don't choose to incorporate that belief system. Maybe I'm using that as an example. Belief system into mine because it's not a fight that I want to get in. That doesn't mean that I don't believe in your fight, and that doesn't mean that I don't have empathy for you. But let's stop fighting with each other. And please remember, truly, truly open-mindedness means accepting those that think differently than you and that may even be closed-minded. Give it some thought. And watch out for the narcissists. They can be closed-minded.